Did you see the moon when you came in? What? Oh, you said no? Who said no? Did anybody not see the moon? So you have to, you could just walk over here. It's right out here. Mom wants us to have services outside. I said, I am freezing. I am not doing that. But when we got here, it was like this big. Adam and I got to the parking lot shortly around the same time, and I wanted him to do one of those pictures where he was holding onto the moon where he was, because it was right over his head. It was magnificent. It was magnificent. And it was, yeah. So tomorrow, what just starts tonight, is the 14th of the month of Tevet. So when do you think the full moon is going to be? What'd you say? I think the full moon, though, is probably a combination of tonight and tomorrow, the 15th. Because when you're in the middle of the Jewish month, when you're in the middle of the biblical month, that's how you know when you see a full moon, you know you're in the middle of the month. When you're in the middle of the month, you know you're going to see a full moon. It goes both ways. That's what you're going to see. And we are in the middle of the month. We are the 14th. We're also, the winter solstice is today, which means it is the shortest day of the year, in some sense of day. I wasn't going to say in some sense of short. In some sense of day, shortest day of the year. So starting tomorrow, we have a little more sunlight, and a little more sunlight, and a little less darkness. And what else are we seeing tonight?
Meteor shower.
The meteor shower tonight. What time is the meteor shower? Meteor shower is almost always 3 in the morning until 5 in the morning. So that's what I talk about. What does a day mean to you? Because my days don't usually include 3 in the morning parts, although they did. I was up in. I had my executive committee. Everybody except the person present today was getting on my case about being awake until 3 in the morning for a whole week, and then making fun of me because I said, every single day that week, someone was texting me that the Bohemian Rhapsody Hanukkah thing at 8:30 in the morning. And I said, I would prefer not to get messages, texts, or calls before 9 in the morning. And they were yelling at me saying, no, they didn't yell. They said, everybody's awake before then. I am not denying if you're awake or not awake. Why do I have to get calls if they're not emergency? I wanted to sit and have coffee with my kids, and I'm allowed to do that. Anyway, I guess not. It's fine. I get it. I'm on call. There was a bumper sticker that said 24/6. If it's good enough for God, it's good enough for us. I am on call 24/7. I suspect God is too. You can pretend that I'm on call 24/6, but I'm on call 24/7. But when we think about those things, the moon, full moon, the winter solstice, and the meteor shower, all converging on this weekend, how does that make you feel? Are you ready to buy a lottery ticket or not buy a lottery ticket? Go underground or go and sing hallelujah? What is it making you feel like doing? I saw things in the news today. I saw that Australia had this horrific hailstorm. Did you hear about that? A lot of damage from this hailstorm. And I saw that there's a woman who she was having a heart attack. The husband called 911. He had no idea how to do CPR. He was convinced she was dead. The 911 operator taught him how to do some CPR. The paramedics had to revive her a few times on the way to the hospital. She was in a coma for weeks, and he made the heart-wrenching decision to take her off life support, and about a minute later, she started breathing. And 4 months later, she's home, and she's doing okay. So I was mentioning, when I saw those things, the fire and brimstone, literally, in the past month that we have seen, and that if those aren't signs, I don't know what is. So what are they signs of? Yeah, what are they signs of? Are you ready for whatever this is now? Are you preparing? What are you preparing for? What? We're preparing for whatever it is. We're here right now. We're the ones who are getting ready for whatever this is. We're going to be good. But I don't know what it is. I thought about that. I thought about how do I teach you how to be ready for whatever this is, whatever this sign is. We get in the Torah, we get in our prayers, we get through history, we get all kinds of signs and stories about signs. But I don't always know that, the story that we're going from in the Torah tonight until next week is today we get the end of Genesis, and next week we have the beginning of Exodus, and one commentary called it the end of Malchut, the end of the kingdom period, and the beginning of the slavery period. And we could have known this was coming. Abraham told us, he's here today to tell us. Abraham told us that there's going to be 400 years of slavery. Get ready, it's coming. We knew that this was coming, and we walked right into it. How do we do those things? And the answer is, we can't tell that these are signs. We can look up in the sky and we can say, ooh, ah, and I hope you do. And I hope that it does spur you to do something, but I don't know that we can avoid things like the hailstorm. And I don't know that it means that we can avoid things like the guy whose wife winds up on life support. We have a defibrillator here, so if we see signs, we are ready. I was trained to say, please be calm, I am trained for this. That's what I was taught to say. They told us everything we had to practice. Whatever we did, we had to say, tap the person on the shoulder, please be calm, I am trained for this. And then you rip their clothes off and you put these things on them and you start singing, staying alive, staying alive. That's what you do. Sorry, what? The Baby Shark song. Well, maybe. That would be very sad if I had to do that. But does that work too? It's the same. Now we're ready. We can, because there's a generation that knows Staying Alive, and then there's a generation that knows the Baby Shark song, so we are all ready now. All right, but the point is, we don't know. If you are paying attention to the service tonight, I think that you will find things that will inspire you to take action. That's what I'm here for today. I'm hoping that you will be inspired to rest and not be awake until 3 o'clock this morning, even if that's when the meteor shower shows up. We have internet now. You could wait until tomorrow and watch it on the internet. No, I'm kidding. Watch it. It's really cool if you stay up and watch it. It's very cool. And I don't think it's going to be a cloudy night tonight, so I think we're good. And the other thing I'm here to inspire you to do is just open your eyes, see what's out there. So having said all that, anybody feel a little stressed this week? Okay. So we're about to start Shabbat. This is the most awesome time of the week. You get to take a break. You get to not have to worry about whatever it was that was stressing you. I can tell you a sign I learned. I have medication that I called in last Sunday and it still isn't in. So I tried to pick it up again today. They had to call the doctor. I tried to pick it up again today and it still wasn't ready. But I was on Uri Drive today. And you do not want to be on Uri Drive today. You do not want to be trying to pull into any of those parking lots or out of any of those parking lots. So if you have ever been inclined to try to keep Shabbat and not go shopping, this is the weekend to do that. I'm just telling you, listen to the rabbi. Do not try to shop this weekend, please. Or no, don't. Just don't. Just don't. I was going to make a joke about Amazon Smile. Do smile.amazon. And then you can stay at home and shop. Don't shop on Shabbat. That's what the rabbi is telling you. Just don't do it. So in order for us to start the service, though, we've got to realize that we are in Shabbat mode. So everybody takes a deep breath, slowly in through your nose. Let it out through your mouth slowly. Try it again. And out again. I'm going to try something new. I went out and I bought us some tape. He's got his on. His is going to hurt more when he takes it off. Yeah, I was going to say, he's got that beard thing happening. This might keep it on better. You need another breath, or are you good? Keep breathing. I keep forgetting that sometimes I have to tell people. From my perspective, where I'm standing here, I have some people do this. They just refuse to breathe. If I tell them to breathe, they just won't do it. I don't know if it's because it's the rabbi says don't breathe. I don't know what it is. They just don't want to do it. And then I get other people who they did, and they wait for me to say exhale. And then I do it again, and then it looks like they're not going to breathe again until I tell them, keep breathing. So I hope I covered everybody. I got the breathers, the not breathers, the rest of it. Keep breathing. Be relaxed. We are going to do service number 2, and I hope that it's one that inspires you. This one inspires me. And we are going to call up the Joseph family to help us with the blessing of the candles and the Kiddush. Page 65, our tradition is, if it is comfortable for you to be standing during this, I invite you to please stand. If we were doing this at home, we would be standing most of the time.
As these candles give light to all who behold them, so may we give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we in our own day be among those who kindle light. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu v'hadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Amen.
We praise
You, eternal God, sovereign of the universe, you hallow us with your mitzvot and command us to kindle the lights of Shabbat.
Amen.
Let
Let there be joy.
Let there be light.
Let there be peace.
Let there be Shabbat. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. We now turn to pages 100. No, we're going to turn to page 165. And if you need to see the translation, you are going to have to turn all by yourself to 166 because we are going to do this in Hebrew. Eloheinu melech haolam, borei pari hagafen, Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho v'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu zikaron lema'aseh b'reishit ki hu yom techila l'mikra'e kodesh zecher l'tziat mitzrayim kivanu v'acharta V'otanu kiddashta mikol ha'amim v'shabbat kodshecha b'ahava u'v'ratzon hinchaltanu Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh ha'shabbat. Amen. L'chaim. Somebody better drink it. It was a good vintage year. They made it last week. It's great juice. You are welcome to sit down. You need to say, please say Shabbat Shalom to someone you came in with, someone you didn't come in with. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Someone you came in with. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. I got a hug on this side. I got a tape on this side. Hey, you. Nice job. Hey, you. Shabbat Shalom. Thanks, Crash. Sorry. Shabbat Shalom. Do something about these then. Got it. We are going to go all the way back to the beginning of service 2 again, and we're turning to page, we're going to do a lot. Page 66, we're going to do a different melody than what we have been doing. And we're going to sing just the top 2 lines in Hebrew of the verses, and then we're going to say Shabbat Shalom. You could do that, Shabbat Shalom, do that, practice. And there's one more word. It's going to end with umevorach. I forgot to teach you your Hebrew.
Yeah, all that trouble.
I did all that trouble. It reminded me of the Hebrew. So you're going to have to wait 1 second. I'm going to teach you your letters first. Hold on. Because all these letters are important to me. Because some of these letters are letters we have here. So you see this letter? We had taught you this letter. This letter is attached at the top left, and there's a tail or a toe at the bottom left, and it sounds like t, t. And this letter is what I like to call a dreidel letter. it has a hole here, and this part is hanging. Some people think that it looks like this one, but this one is attached, and there's a tail, and this one has a hole, and it's hanging. This one is what I like to call none of the above. And so because it's none of the above, because it doesn't have the hole or the tail, this is a sound that is none of the above also. This is the it sounds a little bit like if you're going to fog up your glasses. It is, I call it the wet H. It is the sound that you make at the beginning of the words like Hanukkah, and it is a sound that you make at the beginning of the word challah. And I know you can do that. If you can't do it, come to me and I'll teach you a good workaround. How do you spell I don't know. People are spelling it CH, and that's ch, and people, I don't know. So you spell it, that's it, chet. And then we have learned this letter. This letter is the rounded resh, and this letter is not that. This letter is what I like to call the dingle-dangle doohickey. You see how this one's rounded, and that has a dingle-dangle here? That's the dingle-dangle doohickey, and the dingle-dangle doohickey sounds like duh. So this one is a and this one is a duh. And those were the last two letters that we needed to be able to read this prayer, which has a great story today. The one that says, Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Those were the last two letters that we didn't know to be able to read Echad of all the letters that we learned so far. And the story about that is that in the Torah portion, one of the reasons why we say the second line of the Shema quietly is because one of the stories is that in the Torah portion that we read this weekend, Jacob is lying on his deathbed, and he had been given a promise to God that that land that he left because there was a famine, that was the land that was promised to him and to his ancestors forever and ever. But he is dying in a land that's not that. And his children and his grandchildren and his great-grandchildren by now are living in Egypt and settling in. And he is kind of stressing that maybe they're going to forsake the ways that he had learned through his father and his grandfather, and he was worried that they were going to forsake it. And they said, and he asked them, are you going to still keep the ways? And his sons said to him, Shema Yisrael, listen Israel. They called him by the name of the guy who had struggled with God and won. He said, they said, Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu. Adonai is our God. Adonai Echad, only God. And so he said on his deathbed, according to the story, Baruch Shem Kevod Baruch Olam Vayed, which is why we say it quietly. Praise be the name of God's glorious kingdom forever and ever. And that's one of the reasons why we say it quietly. It's not the only reason, and it's not the primary reason, but that's why we're going to sing it quietly. Then this is the last of the letters we're going to learn today. Last week, and I didn't bring my little one, last week we learned the mem, the Missile Mountain mailbox mem. This one, I like to say, looks like marshmallow. Marshmallow. That's the marshmallow mem. The marshmallow mem is the shape of a mem that only comes at the end of a word. So it's a that only comes at the end of a word. So with that, we can now read all of these letters. These are the letters of the beginning of the brachot. Baruch, Atah, Adonai, Eloheinu, Melech. That has the other kind of mem. Ha'olam. Those are the last three letters that we're missing out of being able to read that. If you know those, then you know just about, you can read almost every sentence in the Torah, at least most of the letters from it. We're getting there. So now that we've done that, we're going to skip to singing page 66 and the Lecha Dodi, which has the dingle dangle doohickey in there a whole bunch.
Lecha Dodi likrat kala pene Shabbat nekabla.
We do that again.
Lecha Dodi likrat kala pene Shabbat nekabla.
Now we're just going to say Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom.
that one more time.
Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom u'mevorach.
And we are going to sing some more. We're going to turn to page 68. I'm trying to get you ready because in just a few weeks, we have Shabbat Shira, the Sabbath of Song. So get ready to be singing. We're going to do this. Behold how good it is and how pleasant it is when... Are we on? I don't hear it. Do you hear it? We don't hear it, Tim. Right. You don't see... Is the button on? Button's on? Okay, we have plan B. Watch this trick. You didn't hire me just for my perky personality and my ability to teach Hebrew. We have this. Hinne ma tovu manaim shevet achim gam yachad. Hinne ma tovu manaim shevet achim gam yachad. Hinne ma tov shevet achim gam yachad. Hinne ma tov shevet achim gam yachad. Hinne ma tov u'manaim shevet achim gam yachad. Hinne ma tov u'manaim shevet achim gam yachad. Now, I think that part of why I said I was hoping you'd be inspired by these words is because we have prayers like this one coming up. Many are the generations of Israel, and in every age we have sought the living God through Sabbath rest and worship. This time and place hold the power to increase our joy in the eternal. O God, even as we seek you in the sanctuary, help us to know that your glory fills all space. Make us understand that you are with us at all times, if we but open our minds to you.
We feel the presence of your Spirit in our homes and on our ways. We see the beauty of your creation in mountain, sea, and sky, and in the human form. We hear you in the silence of our own heart, speaking the truths the heart knows.
May we be your witness to the world, your messenger to all the earth.
May we show forth your image within us, the divine spark that makes us human.
Yitgadal v'yitkadash shmei Rabbah.
Amen.
Ve'alma divrei chiruteh v'yamlich malchuteh b'chayechon u'v'yomechon u'v'chayed l'chol Beit Yisrael. Ba'agala, ba'agala, uvizman kariv, vimeru, amen. Yeheshme Rabba mevarach, le'alam ul'alme almaya, yitbarach, yitbarach, v'yishtabach, v'yitpar, v'yitromam, v'yinaseh, v'yithadar, v'yit'aleh, v'yithalal, shemeh dekudisha, Brichu leila min kol berchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata damiran be'alma v'miru amen. Baruchu et Adonai hamevorach le'olam v'ay. As day departs, as the dark of night descends, we lift our eyes to the heavens. In awe and wonder, our hearts cry out.
Eternal God, how majestic is your name in all the earth.
A vast universe. Who can know it? What mind can fathom it? We look out to the endless suns and ask, what are we? What are our dreams and our hopes? What are we that you are mindful of us? What are we that you should care for us?
And yet within us abides a measure of your Spirit. You are remote, but oh how near, ordering the stars in the vast solitudes of the dark, yet whispering in our minds that you are closer than the air we breathe. For you have made us little less than divine, and crowned us with glory and honor. With love and awe we turn to you, and in the dark of the evening we seek the light of your presence.
I told you it was in here. One and only God, you have made each of us unique and formed us to be united in one family of life. Be with us, Eternal One, as we seek to unite our lives with your power and your love.
We proclaim now your oneness and our own hope for unity.
We acclaim your creative power in the universe and in ourselves, the law that binds world to world and heart to heart. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch shekevod malchuto le'olam va'ed. You may be seated. Ivy, you want to come help me, please? Do you want to? Not today? You do? Yes? Thanks. I meant it when I said, do you want to? I was going to take the step stool out, because most of the time I have to take the step stool out. I don't think I have to for you, but I do have to take a microphone out for you. We have to hear you. Come on over. Go ahead. Whenever you want. Where are you? Okay, gotcha.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם, amen. Thank you. We will also read it in English. You shall love your eternal God
with all your heart, with all your mind, with all your being. Set these words which I command you this day upon your heart. Teach them faithfully to your children. Speak of them in your home and on your way, when you lie down and when you rise up. Bind them as a sign upon your hand. Let them be symbols before your eyes. Inscribe them on the doorposts of your house and on your gates. Be mindful of all my mitzvot and do them. So shall you consecrate yourselves to your God. I am your eternal God, who led you out of Egypt to be your God. I am your eternal God.
In a world torn by violence and pain, a world far from wholeness, a world waiting still to be redeemed, give us, O source of good, the courage to say, there is one God in heaven and earth.
The high heavens declare your glory. May earth reveal your justice and your love.
From Egypt, the house of bondage, we were delivered. At Sinai, amid peals of thunder, we bound ourselves to your purpose. Inspired by prophets and instructed by sages, we survived oppression and exile, time and again overcoming the forces that would have destroyed us.
Our failings are many, our faults are great, yet it has been our glory to bear witness to our God and to keep alive in dark ages the vision of a world redeemed.
May this vision never fade. Let us continue to work for the day when the nations will be one and at peace. Then shall we sing with one accord, as Moses, Miriam, and Israel sang at the shores of the sea.
Ya la 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 la, ya la 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 ya la 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 la, ya la 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 ya la 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 la, ya la 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 ya la 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 la. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha neda b'kodesh, nora tehilot osef eleh, nora tehilot osef eleh. Ya la 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 ya la 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 la, ya la 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 ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 ya la 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 la.
Bottom of 74. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Eternal God, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts, that we may lie down in peace and rise up to find our hearts waiting to do your will.
We
We
praise you,
guardian of Israel, whose love gives light to all the world. O God of Israel, may our worship on this day help us to grow in loyalty to our covenant with you and to the way of life it demands, the way of gentleness and justice, the path of truth and of peace. Try this again. Vishameru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. Please rise for the tefillah, which begins on page 76. Adonai sifata tiftach ufi yagid tehilatecha. Eternal God, open my lips, that my mouth shall declare your glory. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu ve'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, ve'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Leah, ve'Elohei Rachel, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibur v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Hasadim Tovim, V'koneh hakol, V'zocher chasdei avot v'imahot, U'mevii geula livnei vneihem, L'ma'an shemo be'ahava, Melech ozer Moshia u'magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham ve'ezrat Sarah. Your might, O God, is everlasting.
This is a strength for good.
You are the source of life and blessing.
Help us to choose life for ourselves and our children.
You are the support of the falling.
Help us to lift up the fallen.
You are the author of freedom.
Help us to free the captive.
You are our hope in death as in life.
Help us to keep faith with those who sleep in the dust.
Your might, O God, is everlasting.
Help us to use our strength for good.
You are Kadosh, holy. Your name is Kadosh, holy. And those who strive to be Kadoshim, holy, declare your glory day by day. Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh. Praised are you, Eternal One, the Holy God. You may be seated. Yismechu v'malechutecha Shomerei, Shomerei, Shomerei Shabbat Korei oneg Shabbat Mekadesh, Mekadesh Shvi Shabbat Kulam yisbeu v'yitangu mituvecha Shabbat Yismechu v'malechutecha Shomerei, Shomerei, Shomerei Shabbat Korei oneg Shabbat V'hashvi ratzita bo v'kidashto Shabbat Chemdat yamim oto karata Shabbat Yismechu v'malachutecha Shomerei, Shomerei, Shomerei Shabbat Korei oneg Shabbat Zecher Lema'aseh v'reishit Shabbat Zecher Lema'aseh v'reishit Shabbat Yismechu v'malechutecha Shomerei, Shomerei, Shomerei Shabbat Korei oneg Shabbat. God of Israel, may our worship on this Sabbath bring us near to all that is high and holy. May it bind the generations in bonds of love and sharing, and unite us with our people in common hope and faith. And through Sabbath rest and worship, may we learn to find fulfillment and joy in the vision of peace for all the world. You are with us in our prayer, in our love and our doubt, in our longing to feel your presence and do your will. You are the still, clear voice within us. Therefore, O God, when doubt troubles us, when anxiety makes us tremble and pain clouds the mind, we look inward for the answer to our prayers. There may we find you, and there find courage, insight, and endurance. And let our worship bring us closer to one another, that all Israel and all who seek you may find new strength for your service. Eternal source of good, we give thanks for the numberless gifts and blessings that fill our days, for life itself and its endless variety, for all that sustains body and mind, for love and friendship, for the delights of the senses, and for the excellence of your Torah, which deepens our life and enriches our days. Teach us, God of wonders, to work for a just and compassionate society, where all may share your gifts in the joy of freedom.
Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ki Atahu Melech Adon Lekol HaShalom. Shalom Rav tasim leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha, tasim leolam. V'tov me'anecha levarech et Amcha Yisrael lechol עת ולכל שעה בשלומך. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha, tasim leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha, tasim leolam. Tasim leolam. Tasim leolam.
Take a moment of silent prayer.
May the words of my mouth
Imre fi v'hegyon libi
and the meditations of my heart
lefanecha
be acceptable to you. Lefanecha. Be acceptable to you.
Yeah, same thing. Same thing.
I got into
Same
it.
thing.
I
Same
got
thing.
into
That
it.
was good. That was good. And I'm glad you didn't try to hit my notes. I was panicked there for a second. My turn. Adonai tzuri.
Oh God, my rock,
Tzuri v'gohali.
my rock and my redeemer.
Okay, it's going to get tough again. Adonai tzuri
Oh God, my rock
v'gohali.
and redeemer.
You got it. You got it. Thank you.
I was paying too much attention to you.
I know, and I was paying attention to you, and I thought I hit those notes for a second. That was scary for me, I'll tell you. I can't do those notes. Thank you, Sarah. Our hearts and our prayers now turn to those who are ill or recuperating as we turn to the inside back cover of our prayer books. And for a moment, I turn my microphone off again as I name the people in my list. If you have other names that you would like us to be including in our prayer, please call them out. For all these names, for the names we choose to hold in our hearts and not say out loud, we read together. Oh God, in our hearts we name those who are facing illness and pain. We join our prayers for the prayers of all who love them. Give them renewed comfort and courage. Strengthen in them the healing powers you have placed within us all. Guide the hands and hearts of those who are entrusted with their care. May the knowledge of your love and ours give added hope to them and to their dear ones. May they find even greater strength because our prayers are linked to theirs. Baruch atah Adonai, Rofeh HaCholim. We praise you, eternal God, the source of healing and health. And we add, Mishaberach avotenu ve'imotenu, may the one who blessed and protected our ancestors guard all those whom we have entrusted with the responsibility of defending our freedom and protecting us. In this country, in the land of Israel, and everywhere they've been called to serve, give them courage to succeed and strength to persevere. May they return home safely, and let us say, Amen. I wrote a sermon in very big letters for you. I actually talked it into my phone, and I'm very afraid to read it now, because even though I thought I'd proofed it, it still changes stuff. And I know now why, because my kids asked me why they gave the name Siri to the Siri. And all of the names had to do with, all the reasons had to do with women's names. But on my phone, Siri is a guy. I think Siri is just mad at me. I think that's what it is. So I'm going to tell you my sermon, more than reading to my sermon. I was talking a lot to my kids this week about what I should talk about. Max reminded me that it's the very last sermon of the year that I will give, because next week I'll be out of town. So the year doesn't mean as much to me. I did that already in the High Holy Day part of the year. That meant more to me. I talked about, I know, I could do a review of all my best, my top 10 or something, but I don't know what I said, so I'm not going to be able to do that. What I wanted to talk to you about, since I really did get told that I shouldn't be up until 3 o'clock in the morning and I need a life and blah, 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 I wanted you to know that I watch TV too. And I don't watch TV. I watch like Hulu and Netflix and things like that. But I discovered 3 shows that I have been watching lately that I really like. So I'm going to teach you about TV today. The 3 shows, have you been watching any shows that you like lately? So the 3 shows I want to talk to you about are kind of strange. I know it's not that I want to recommend that everybody watch them, but I'll explain why I like them. One of them is the one about Mrs. Maisel. Have you seen that one? So that one has to do with, it's from the 50s, and this woman who winds up, she's going through divorce, and she finds herself on stage telling jokes, and it turns out she's a pretty good stand-up comedian. And so she starts trying to make a life of that. And I like that show because in many ways it reminds me of my roots. It's not my memory, my story, but it feels like I was there. It kind of speaks my language. The characters look and sound like the people that I grew up with. Somehow Tony Shalhoub looks a lot like my grandfather, same mustache and everything in those days. And the guy she's divorcing looks a lot like my other grandparents, and they were in the garment industry. They weren't as mucky-muck, but they were, it's my people. It was, my roots were right there. And it's not exactly my story because she's older than I was. I wasn't born in the 50s, I'm sorry to tell some of you, but it's still, I feel like they're speaking my language, and it's a story that I really know. And so I enjoy that one. And there's a lot of Jewish in it, by the way. They went to the Catskills in this most recent season, and I grew up in the Catskills too, and they had a Tisha B'Av service, and they had a Yom Kippur service where the little kid was eating a lot of chocolate because you have to let the kid eat chocolate in service. Anyway, they were speaking my language. There's another show that I watched, thanks to Sarah, called The Good Place. And that became, have you seen that one? Who's watched that one? Nobody, just Sarah. Yay, Sarah. Have you seen it? No? See, you don't have time to watch TV. I have time to watch TV because I stay up till 3 in the morning. But The Good Place is a story about, it starts with this woman who finds out, she goes into an office and she's sitting opposite Ted Danson, with very white hair, and Ted Danson tells her that she's dead and that she has made it to the good place. And she is told that, she's done all of these things in her life, and only the top, 0.000% of people who ever live make it to the good place. And that she did, because she is such an incredible lawyer who did all these humanitarian things, and she's nodding her head, but she wasn't a lawyer when she was alive. And so she feels like she's a fake in this place. And what happens ensues. Great characters. I like their characters, and I really enjoy that. What I like about these people, there's a lot of interesting dynamics. It's not so much I really feel like it's teaching me anything about what happens after you die, because I don't think it teaches me anything about what happens after I die. Although every once in a while I realize that I talk to somebody and they'll ask me a question, and I realize sometimes I say, yeah, but it's like that show, but I don't mean it when I say it that way. But we find out that these people aren't really in the good place at some point. I forgot to tell you, there's going to be spoilers in this thing, so you may never want to watch these shows anyway. But the people who are not in the good place, who think they're in the good place, are not really bad people. But I think that we feel like they're not bad people, and maybe they should be in the good place. Sometime, more than the story about death and what happens after you die, I love the philosophy. There's intensive ethical lessons that it teaches in this. And I don't know if you know this about me, but I have a master's degree in philosophy. And I had to take qualifying exams for my doctoral degree in philosophy. And you know how if you take somebody and they jump into the pool in the deep end accidentally, and they don't have their water wings or their tube on or whatever, and they're going like this in the deep end? That was me in philosophy. That's what I felt like. And so there's something that I find really awesome. And I passed with, I did great in the classes, but it was a lot of this, a lot of that. And I love the way they talk about these really serious ethical dilemmas, and I just really enjoy it. I appreciate it. I find it thought-provoking anyway. I appreciate how accessible it makes those deep concepts. And I think that it's kind of us in that story. The other story that I like, I have no idea where I am, even my notes, I stopped reading them. The other story that I'm enjoying now is a show I started watching just recently called This Is Us. Has anybody seen This Is Us? So This Is Us is a story about a family life. And you get to meet a few people, a few generations of this family. It's done in a very well-written way where you see them as if it's all unfolding right now, but you're actually seeing different time periods. And I think that the first episode is one of my favorite shows ever, how they introduced you to the characters. You really like all these characters, and at the end, it all surprised you. And I almost didn't want to watch any more after that because I couldn't imagine that they were going to keep that kind of a level of writing up. But I just started the second season, and I'm still enjoying it. And it is a family of really endearing kinds of characters, but it's a really weird family. It's a blending of family in ways that are not typical, or we are not thought of as typical, but the older I've gotten, the more I realize that that's kind of what families are. And the reason why I'm telling you about all of this is because I think that's what's happening in our Torah right now. I think that part of the reason why I like Torah, and I have to admit to you, I don't know if you know this about me, but before I moved to Shreveport, I did not have to read Torah. I had to learn biblical Hebrew. I did a lot of biblical Hebrew, but I didn't have to read a lot of Torah. Somehow the years when I was in religious school, like it was always the wrong school that I was at, and they skipped, and I don't know, I didn't have to read Torah. And now, obviously, I've been reading it intensively for a long time. And I love the stories that we hear in the Torah, not because I think that they're true, just like I don't think that these stories that I'm watching on TV are true, but because the characters are really endearing, and because they speak my language. And I feel like I'm connected to them, even when I know that I didn't really live in those time periods, and I didn't really know those characters. I look forward every week to hearing what happens. Even when in the Torah a lot of this is reruns, every time I watch it again or read the book, I feel like I'm seeing new things that I missed before. Sometimes it's foreshadowing that I never noticed. And I just hope that you get to appreciate some TV time and some Torah time. And that's my lesson for you for the end of this year. Madam Vice President, you have your copy? I have my copy here. I threw everything on the floor. I don't know why I did that. Just a teeny tiny bit. But I'll tell you what that change is. If you don't read it, it's okay. I can tell you.
This one?
Yeah, that'll help. Yeah.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Thank you, Joseph family, for saying the blessings. I appreciate it when the whole family stands up there. It really makes a special time. Please note that the offices will be closed Monday through Wednesday next week, and they'll reopen on Thursday. Next Friday, December 28th, Barbara is scheduled to lead the Shabbat evening services. Rabbi Jana will begin adult Hebrew classes on Thursdays, not Wednesdays, beginning January 10th from 6 to 7:30 p.m. The class will start by learning or reviewing the alphabet and continue with vocabulary and grammar lessons. The class will learn biblical Hebrew, but Rabbi Jana also teaches how it relates to liturgical and modern Hebrew. The class is called Decoding Hebrew. Registration and tuition information is online. There will not be a Together Tuesday on January 1st. Friday, January 4th, we will celebrate everyone with birthdays or anniversaries in January with special blessings and honors during the service and with a special Oneg Shabbat. Students in religious school and Hebrew school do not meet again for classes until, you know when? January 13th.
Oh, no. Oh. That's too long.
Donations were made to B'nai Zion for pulpit flowers in loving memory of Ross Stewart Offertig by Kathy and Abe Offertig, and in loving memory of Charles Friedenthal by Carolyn Murov.
Thank you. And the other note that I forgot to tell you is that the lady who really did live through the Mrs. Maisel story is my mom, and she's teaching Torah study next Saturday. She was really there. Every single thing that you see, she was there. Even in those dresses and heels, that was her. All her. Dirty Dancing, that was all her. All of those things, that was her. There's news. Are you know, remember that you can make your payments and donations and things online. Just log in. If you have problems logging in, we can try to help. I'm going to ask, if you are under the age of 13 and you're awake enough to pop up, come on up, help me open the doors for the Ark. Everyone please rise for the Aleinu on page 148. You want to come up? Guys, come on. You coming up? Help me open the doors? Somebody's got to do it. You want to? No? Yes? No? You don't want to? I could do this. Sarah, you want to come up? Help me? Come on up. You could be under 13 today. You and me both. We got this. I'm making you do your bat mitzvah all over again. These are the hard parts, walking up and down the stairs, opening the Ark. Ready? Get ready. It's the Torahs. I love the Torahs. Do you want to hug one? You can hug one. Pick your favorite color. Yeah, I like those. Ready? All right, come on in. Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, l'tet gedula liotzer breshit, shelo asanu kegoye ha'aratzot, velo samanu kemishbechot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkenu kahem, v'goralenu kechol hamonam. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. And on the facing page we're going to sing ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא Goodbye, Torah. Goodbye, Torahs. When the ark is closed, you may be seated. And I probably have to apologize to Adam every single week. He never knows when that cue is coming, ever.
Different every time.
It's different every single time. And I'm standing there just wagging and wagging. And it looks bad if I do that. It makes it look like he doesn't know what he's doing. He knows what he's doing. I just give him a different cue every single week. And it's not until after I realize
I don't know what I'm doing.
he doesn't know what he's doing. It's that we just don't know what we're doing. I am very sad to report that we have lost 28 people in our military. I think that the number hasn't caught up with some of the information that I heard this week. We've lost 145 people, police officers already this year. 145 police officers this year. We've lost 25 K-9 officers. We've lost 83 firefighters. May we be forever grateful for those people who run into dangerous situations to protect us. May their families be consoled. Our thoughts turn to those who have departed this earth, our own loved ones, those whom our friends and neighbors have lost, the martyrs of our people, and those of every race and nation whose lives have been a blessing to humanity. As we remember them, let us meditate on the meaning of love and loss, of life and death. We turn to page 152. When cherished ties are broken and the chain of love is shattered, only trust and the strength of faith can lighten the heaviness of the heart. At times, the pain of separation seems more than we can bear, but love and understanding can help us pass through the darkness toward the light. Out of affliction, the psalmist learned the law of God, and in truth, grief is a great teacher when it sends us back to serve and bless the living. We learn how to counsel and comfort those who, like ourselves, are bowed with sorrow. We learn when to keep silence in their presence, and when a word will assure them of our love and concern. Thus, even when they are gone, the departed are with us, moving us to live, as in their higher moments they themselves wished to live. We remember them now. They live in our hearts. They are an abiding blessing. However brief may be our time on earth, O God, you endow our fleeting days with abiding worth. We now recall the loved ones whom death has recently taken from us. We recall Helen Wiseman, and you haven't gotten the notice yet because I don't have all of the details about the funeral, but Dorothy Yearwood McGovern passed away recently. That's George McGovern's mother. We remember congregants' parents who died within the past year. We remember Peter Haas and Joe Batt Sr., Sarah David, Flo Selber, Gloria Meyer, Richard Stewart, and Clifford Bear. And as we remember those who died at this season in years past, we take them into our hearts with our own. Those for whom we're observing Yortzites this week include Leon Abramson, Ross Stewart Offertig, Ingrid Benson, Marks Bluestein, Z. Branis, Leon Chernick, Pearl G. Dover, Charles G. Friedenthal, Leslie Gruber, Mary H. Grunis, Paul Heiss, Henry Kahn, Bertha Kassoff, Leona Lefkowitz, Helen Levy, Herbert Loeb, Imogene Silber Pleiner, Armand Roos, Carol Steiner Rubenstein, Chuck Selber, George L. Shanhouse, Sam Sklar, Jerome Bernard Stenzler, Sylvia Terrell, Sam Wiseman, Sarah Willer, and Viola Wolf. In this moment of memory, our griefs and sympathies are mingled. Loving God, we rise as together we praise your name. The Mourner's Kaddish is found on page 154. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, be'alma divra chiruteh v'yamlich malchuteh, b'chayechon u'v'yomechon u'v'chayei d'chol Beit Yisrael, ba'agala u'vizman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shemei Rabbah mevarach la'alam u'lalmei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה בריחו. לעילם הן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, דאמירן בעלמה ואמרו אמן. יהי שלמה רבה מן שמיה, וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו amen. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn and comfort to all who are bereaved. Amen. You may be seated. I couldn't convince anybody to come up for the Aleinu, anybody want to come up for the bread? Can I get anybody who's under 13? You guys want to come up? Yeah, anybody who's under 15, come up. Anybody who's under 65, 75, going once, going twice? Hold on to the bottom. You guys got this. Ready? Go. Hamotzi lechem min haaretz. We give thanks to God for bread. Our voices rise in song together as our joyful prayer is said. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz b'te'avon. I get the plate, you get that. Go. Shoop. Please rise for the closing benediction. So watch for signs. Sometimes we know what to do when we see them, and sometimes we don't. Watch out for each other. Be there for each other. Stay off the roads. And I'll see you. Maybe next year. Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. May God bless you. May God protect you. Yair Adonai panav elecha v'choneka. May the light of God's face shine upon you and be gracious to you. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. May God's face always be looking up to you. May God grant you peace. Shabbat shalom u'mivorach. Shabbat shalom u'mivorach. Shabbat shalom shalom.